Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar titled Visualization and Analysis of High-Parameter CyTOF Data with FCS Express in Record Time. I'm Xavier Gutierrez of Labroots, and I'll be your moderator for today's event. Today's educational web seminar is presented by Fluidigm. Now let's get started. Before we begin, I would like to remind everyone that this event is interactive, and we encourage you to participate by submitting as many questions as you would like during the presentation. To do so, simply type them into the Ask a Question box and click Send. We will answer as many questions as we have time for at the end of the presentation. If you have trouble seeing or hearing the presentation, click on the Ask a Question box located on the far left of your screen. I now present today's speaker, Dr. David Novo, President of Novo Software. For a complete biography on Dr. Novo, please visit the Biography tab at the top of your screen. Dr. Novo, you may now begin your presentation.
Thank you for the kind introduction, and thank you for inviting me to speak today at the Fluidigm Infectious Disease and Oncology Virtual Summit. My name is Dave Novo. I'm the president of Novo Software, and I'm going to spend a few minutes of your time today introducing you to FCS Express, our flow and image cytometry data analysis software, and showing some really amazing examples of how you can use FCS Express to speed up and visualize your analysis of CyTOF data. I'm really pleased to announce that going forward, Fluidigm is going to be providing a copy of FCS Express, a one-year license at no charge to all customers who purchase a new Helios instrument. So that's really great. Everybody will have at least a copy, a single copy of FCS Express. And with that, we're going to be providing all sorts of templates and tools and resources to really simplify and enhance the analysis of the data from the Helios instrument. A little bit of a background for anybody who's never heard of us before. Novo Software has been producing cytometry analysis tools for about 20 years now. We have a team around the world of support staff and to assist everybody in using and learning the software. And FCS Express is used in a huge array of settings, from academic settings to biopharma settings to clinical lab settings to contract research organizations. So we have a whole suite of functionality that support both validated research as well as academic research and can help customers no matter what field they're in. As I'm going to show you later, one of the unique things about FCS Express is that it's not only a flow cytometry analysis tool like what you're used to in terms of getting plots and gates. It also helps you get your final package and your final results. And then those are generally more these days than just a bunch of pictures of plots and gates, and we provide all those tools. FCS Express is modeled off of Microsoft Office, so particularly Microsoft PowerPoint. So you already know how to use it if you know how to use PowerPoint. It's very, very simple to use. And again, our key difference is that FCS Express tries to provide a tool that you can get your complete results in a single package. Normally, your flow data analysis involves you doing your primary flow analysis in your flow software, and then from your flow software, you go to Prism or you go to Excel, and then from Excel, or you go to R, and then from Prism to Excel to R, you go to PowerPoint or you go to Illustrator, and you have to go through 3 or 4 different software packages in order to get the final result that you're going to report to somebody. Whereas, as we'll show in the examples that later on in the presentation, that can be done all right within FCS Express itself. So it dramatically speeds up your time to get your final results. FCS Express has a lot of really key features that are really, really helpful for particularly Fluidigm customers using high dimensional data from the Helios. I'm going to show a lot about, you can see integrated spreadsheets and graphing, where you can actually combine results together from multiple tubes or multiple samples and immediately get bar charts and pie charts and everything updating as you move your gates. You get publication quality graphics right within the software, all in an easy Microsoft Office-like interface. And we have a whole suite of high dimensional analysis tools and more coming all the time to support the cutting edge data analysis that people need. Again, right within this very simple Microsoft Office-like framework. You can see that we have quite a few transformations already available, and other ones are going to be launched within the next couple of months. Again, we're going to be building, and I'll be showing an example of pre-built templates for common Fluidigm kits and assays. Also, you know, again, in an easy to use framework where you can actually both do high dimensional data analysis and dot plots and heat maps and Tisney and all sorts of stuff. But again, the little things like, for example, simplified axis labeling, you can very easily change any formatting of your plots, including the axis labels, change dot colors, change dot sizes, change anything about the look and feel of the plots that you want, in addition to, of course, very, very sophisticated analysis. So, you know, in summary, this is going to be a really brief presentation. You know, again, our focus is to help you get your results quickly and get a wide variety of results, not just a bunch of dot plots and a bunch of histograms, but the actual results that you can report in your lab meeting and give to publications and use for posters quickly and easily. If you want more information after the presentation, please feel free to go to our website at www.denovosoftware.com. We have dozens and dozens of videos and tutorials and resources to get started. And you can also, of course, grab a free 30-day demo and give it a try on your own. It already works with, the current demo works with data from your Helios, so you can already load it up and give it a try. Okay, so I'm going to use the last few minutes of the presentation to kind of give an overview of an actual very commonly used assay that is commonly used with the Helios data and, from the instrument, and that's an example of the MaxPar layout or the MaxPar kit. And you can see here, so I've switched over quickly, and this is a view of FCS Express. You can see that it actually looks like Microsoft PowerPoint. We have very familiar ribbon. We have an insert tab where you can insert all of the various types of plots that you need. We have a gating tab, we have batch processing tab, we have formatting tab. So everything works in a very, very familiar Microsoft Office environment. So this layout is already, so FCS Express is really great because it's both optimized for sort of free form data analysis where you don't really know what you're doing and you just want to look at random plots and random gates. But if you've already got a defined analysis strategy, FCS Express really can help you out as well. So you can see here that this particular analysis has 18 pages already pre-made. You can see that there are different pages for the different subsets that you're used to analyzing with the MaxPar layout. So how you get your data into the layout is very, very easy. Even though there's 18 pages and dozens and dozens and dozens of plots, all you have to do to get your data in is add files to our data list that you can see I'm working with over here. And I'm going to add 2 sets of data. As we all know, the MaxPar template is an 8-2 panel. So I'm going to add 16 files to here. And you can see that what it did is it not only did it load the data, it also is placing the data in all of the pages across all 18 pages wherever it's supposed to go. So the plots for neutrophils and eosinophils went on page 2. The plots for the cleanup from tube 1 went on this first page. The plots for B cell subsets went on the 3rd page, etc. So you can very, very easily, you saw just within a few seconds, load up a whole set of data. They're all gated. The statistics are all analyzed. And I'll show some of the features of this template in a little bit. You can very easily switch between panels. So for instance, if I simply click on this one over here, I'm actually going to jump to the first set of 8 tubes, and you can see that it loads up a whole new set of data and changes the analysis quite quickly. There seems to be a bit of a delay because of the GoToMeeting, but you can see that it switched to the first set of tubes, which are now blue, and I'll go back again to the second set of tubes, and you can see that it switched again. Okay, so I'm going to just use this analysis layout to show some examples of different things you can do. Again, in this very brief presentation, there's not a lot of time to get into detail, but I do want to point out that there's a lot of gates. This layout has tons and tons of gates available to it. You can see here as an example, all the gates are already pre-made and placed in a default position for you, generally where they're supposed to go. And of course, as you move your gates around, you can see that the plots are all updating in real time to reflect your new gated populations. Okay, so all the plots update in real time, all the statistics update in real time as you're dragging your gates around, even on a complicated layout like this. Okay, so you can see that there are tons of plots. These are all your primary flow plots that you're used to from your software. And you can do all the types of plotting, all the types of gating, density plots, contour plots, histograms, backgating, everything you're used to for primary flow analysis you can do in FCS Express. So I'm not going to focus on that for now. I want to show you some of the novel features. So if I jump to one of the later pages, for example, you can see here is actually a summary of all of the, a lot of the cell populations within the given samples. And you can see that what we have here is comparing our 2 different treatments, S1 and S2, and the different cell subsets and the percentages between them. And you can see at the top of the page, we actually calculate in real time a p-value showing the statistical difference between the S1 and S2 populations across that particular gate or across that particular cell type that we're looking at. These all update in real time as you're moving your gates around. So if I would go to some of the other pages and move the gates, these would be updated as soon as I got back. And I wanted to just point out that this is made possible by one of the really innovative features of FCS Express, that being our integrated spreadsheets. So you can see here that this actually, what I'm clicking in is a spreadsheet. These values in the spreadsheet are not hard-coded. They are actually statistics that are linked to the various plots and gates and quadrants and whatever you're used to, and they update based on those. So these guys here are just statistics that are pulled in from various places in the analysis. But if I click in this cell, mean S1, you can see that you actually can enter Excel formulas and average out the results of all of these 4 populations. Okay, so you can combine all the Excel formulas that you're used to with live updating statistics that are updating as your analysis changes. So this particular analysis, for example, whoops, sorry, I jumped to the wrong page. You can see in this template that we have the average and we have the standard deviation formulas that we're calculating from our samples, but just to show that we actually support a wide array, all of the formulas that you expect from Excel. You can see a huge list of statistical formulas, math and trigonometry formulas, lookup and reference formulas, date and time formulas, logical formulas, so you can do if, then, else. So all of the complex analysis that you can do with Excel, you can all do it within FCS Express, except you can do it on all of your primary flow data, all of your gated statistics that are updating in real time as you move your gates. Okay, and I can show that as a quick example, I think, on this page. You see here that there's this eosinophil bar plot, And as I move my eosinophil gate around, you can see that the bars and the bar plots and the p-values and everything is updating in real time as I move my gates around. Okay, so we support a lot of these plots. We support pie charts, bar charts, statistical regression charts, a lot of different things. Again, all have the ability to combine data from different samples in novel ways and let you visualize them. The last thing I wanted to show you also is an example of how easy it is to perform high dimensional data analysis in FCS Express. So one of the more common statistical tools or visualization tools that are used in these days is t-SNE. And I just want to show you how easy it is to apply a t-SNE analysis to your data. So you see I clicked here on the transformation window and I already had created a t-SNE transformation. And I'm going to select which parameters I want to participate in my t-SNE. And I've already selected that I want my t-SNE to be based on CD19, CD4, CD8, CD11C, CD6, CD45RO, and CD45RA. And so the only thing I actually have to do to calculate the t-SNE is simply drag this t-SNE onto my plot. And as with any t-SNE, it takes a second or two to do the calculation, so it's done. And now when I switch to t-SNE X or versus t-SNE Y, then you can see here is my t-SNE plot that I've generated from my data. And then if I quickly want to see all of the parameters, we have a special plot, and I'm going to say, you know what, I want to see my t-SNE plot colored on these parameters. I can actually very quickly, and now it's got each plot is colored based on a different parameter. And if I want to format that data, for example, all of them together and potentially show a legend to see what marker each plot is using, I'm going to turn on the legend, and you see the plots update in real time to show the legend, and I'm going to choose to put the legend on the bottom. And you can see that right away now all of my plots quickly have a legend showing which marker they're colored by and showing the t-SNE plot colored by that particular marker in that particular plot. Okay, so this was a very, very brief introduction, and I don't want to exceed my time here. So I do want to thank the organizers for letting me present today. If you do have any questions at all about what you've seen, please either contact your Fluidigm representative or once again, just shoot an email to support@denovosoftware.com. I'll make that big for you so you can see it. And we'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. Okay, thank you very much.
Well, a big thank you to Dr. Novo for that informative presentation. Unfortunately, Dr. Novo cannot join us for live Q&A today. However, Sean Burke will be answering questions on behalf of Dr. Novo. Welcome, Sean. We will now start the Q&A portion of the webinar. And if you have any questions you'd like to ask, please do so now. Just click the Ask a Question box located on the far left of your screen. Now let's get started. Our first question is going to be, is FCS Express 21 Part 11 compliant?
Yeah, and thanks again for having us here and hosting the presentation today. I'm happy to take that question. So FCS Express does have the ability to enable 21 Part 11 compliant features in the software. So the version of FCS Express that comes with the Fluidigm instruments will not have this enabled. However, you can contact our team at support@denovosoftware.com to get more information about that. And essentially the way that FCS Express handles that is by adding on security and logging functionality. So the security functionality allows folks to restrict access to various functions to particular users and groups of users, as well as allowing electronic signature type capability. And the other half of that is what we call logging. which is also referred to as audit trails. And these logging and audit trails is a system that allows you to track every change that you make to every single layout. So if you load data, if you move a text box, if you move a gate, all that sort of information is tracked. So when you have these additional add-ons enabled for the software, it can help you conform with government regulations such as 21 CFR Part 11. So again, you can contact us at support@denovosoftware.com if you have any questions about that. As a follow-up, we can get you some more information there.
Great. And are more algorithms for high-dimensional data reduction planned?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know Dave alluded to that many more of these things are coming down the line. So just in the next few months, probably by the end of the summer, we're going to have a brand new pipelines tool in FCS Express that's going to allow you to not just work with Tizzy and Spade, it's going to allow you to work with tools like UMAP and SOM, some other kind of familiar ones that are on the market. And it's also going to allow you to customize these pipelines with downsampling steps, upsampling steps, to hopefully help you come up with new algorithms on your own without having to have any sort of programming or R scripting knowledge. It's all through a pretty easy to use interface directly in the software.
And can I add more users or licenses to my free 1-year license?
Yeah, so the licenses that are going to be coming with the Fluidigm instruments are what we call internet dongle licenses. And essentially what that allows folks to do is install the software on as many computers as they want, and one person at a time can use that license. It means that you can set up 10 users, 20 users, 100 on that license, but one person at a time can use it. So you do have a lot of flexibility, even with the license that comes with the software, to put it on as many computers as you want. However, if you do need simultaneous access, you need 2, 3, 4 people analyzing data at the same time, we can enable that. All you have to do is contact our team at support, and for whatever the cost is, we can add those additional users to the license, and then you can have a multi-user license at any time.
Awesome. So a question here, are p-values adjusted for multiple testing?
Yes, I think that question probably goes back to the bar plots and the box and whisker plots that Dave Novo was showing during the presentation. So the way that the p-values work in FCS Express is just like you would work in a spreadsheet in Microsoft Excel. So whatever data that you have in that spreadsheet is going to be what the p-values are based off of. So in the example that was being shown, it was 2 sets of, I believe 4 tubes each that were being compared to each other. So if you have multiple sets, you can either use the data list to kind of move between them. You can add additional sets of data. So really, the way to think about it is whatever you might do in Microsoft Excel, whatever you might do in a tool like Prism, you can do that same thing in FCS Express. You just have to have the data loaded into the layout. And when you do that, not only can you compare against multiple testings, you get that live updating of gates or live updating of statistics as you move gates and you change data files around.
And why use FCS Express with MaxPart if analysis can be done automatically with PathSetter?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of advantages to using FCS Express. I know from what I've seen, PathSetter does some really great things. I'm sure it has some really great functionality that you'll want to use. I mean, there's no reason to not use PathSetter for certain things. But where FCS Express really excels is getting you those results very quickly and very easily through some of these predefined templates that we have. We can see the changes that are being made to the downstream final results as gates update in real time, which is pretty nice. And also one thing we didn't really put a lot of focus on, just for the interest of time, is that when you're ready to get those results out, whether it needs to go out to PowerPoint, to PDF, to high-resolution images, FCS Express has some very quick and easy export tools. So if you needed to export some of your t-SNE plots and some of that reported information to, say, PowerPoint, you can literally click a button and that data will be exported in whatever resolution you want. So imagine, you're going to a conference, a real conference one day. We'll be able to get back and do that pretty soon, which will be pretty fun. But if you need a 300 DPI image for your poster, well, you can just set that in FCS Express. You can hit the export button, and that's what we kind of refer to as a final result, right? Having that graphic that's up there for your poster at a presentation, having that graphic that's ready to be sent off to the publisher. Those are the things that FCS Express can really help you with. So again, I think PathSetter is a really great tool. I think FCS Express can complement it in a lot of ways when it comes to the downstream and final results that we get out.
All right, and looks like we're going to have time for one more question here. Can gating analysis be automated, or do they need to be adjusted manually from sample to sample?
Yeah, it's a great question. So right now there is no, I guess what we call automatic gating in FCS Express. However, we do have, and we will be having more of these, are kind of predefined templates for analysis. So just like Dave showed today, the MaxPar immune profiling assay template that he brought up, that sort of template is going to be able to be downloaded from the Novo Software website. It's going to be able to be downloaded from the Fluidigm website. And essentially what will happen there is you'll have some predefined gating positions and predefined gates for as many gates as you want. And when you load the data in, all of that part of it will be done. We won't adjust those gates to, say the 90th percentile of data or something like that. So you do have to go through and review gates. You do have to make sure that the gates are in the correct positions. But when you get them in the correct positions, we can save that in FCS Express. You can use that from sample to sample. We also have some nice functionality in the software where if you kind of have a group of data that all needs to be gated in the same way, you can save kind of predefined gating positions. So as you move from one group of data to another, even though it's not being automatically gated, by some sort of artificial intelligence or something like that, predefined gating positions are allowed, and it should make things pretty straightforward for doing any sort of analysis.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, San, for your time today, and we really appreciate you being with us.
No problem, and thanks again for everybody to come out and join in the summit today. It's been a lot of fun to watch the presentations. We really appreciate you coming out today, too.
It has. Well, before we go, I'd like to thank the audience for joining us today and for their interesting questions. Questions we did not have time for today and those submitted during the on-demand period will be addressed by the speaker via the contact information you provided at the time of registration. This webcast can be viewed on demand through July of 2021. Until next time, goodbye.